Welcome back, brothers, tourists, and ladies, to another installation of the Chapter House, the first in the year of our Lord 2026. New year, same show with a baby. Welcome back, guys. Joining us today are the St. Louis Voyageurs out of, you guessed it, St. Louis, Missouri. Welcome, TC Tango Charlie, representing the St. Louis Voyageurs. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. Great to be here. Happy 2026.
Happy 2026, indeed. And not the, drop the title, just Overseer. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. I'm doing well.
Well, that's great. It's 2026 is off to a banging good start. We don't talk politics on this show. Just kidding. But it's been pretty solid. Now, talking about St. Louis, I know absolutely nothing about St. Louis. The most exposure that I have to St. Louis is in a Tom Waits song in which he says, "When you're east of East St. Louis," which makes it sound pretty depressing. But that's what you guys are here to talk to us about. What draws a man to St. Louis, Missouri?
It's very economic. It's probably one of the most economic cities in the United States. I mean, a part of that is probably the bad name, reputability.
Right.
Yeah.
Despite that reputation, a lot of areas are actually like really nice and relatively affordable, considering relative to other parts of the country, larger cities.
Yeah, I was going to say affordability usually comes with a caveat that you have to deal with certain types.
You're paying for other things, a trade-off. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, there's a spread of different kinds of place across the metro area. Like in the far south west, there's some pretty rigid terrain that gets cut through by the Merrimack, the Missouri, and the Mississippi going straight south, and some in sort of like along the Mississippi in the northwest. But basically, it's an intersection of a few rivers, which gives it a lot of portage advantage. So there's like a lot of the actual commodity flow of the entire nation goes through it, which is another reason for the affordability. A lot of lower input prices for all sorts of things.
Well, that's interesting. Does that mean that St. Louis has a big manufacturing base?
I mean, it manufactures a few things.
It used to. It was bigger, but it's still a decent size. I mean, like, it used to make almost all the enamel, like granite enamel, up in Granite City at one point in time. That became a giant steel works, which has been turning off and turning on every once in a while, as I hear, as like recent history. Yeah, basically it's divided into a few areas. There's basically like a big opening up of what some people would know as like the bottoms, or you could also call it the floodplain, around the area. And most settlement happens in the land above the floodplain that, like, it doesn't flood because it's not on the floodplain. But there's really rich agricultural land on the floodplain too in this area, which is one of the reasons why the city popped up where it did. It's like
so you mentioned how there's kind of good areas of the city, bad areas of the city, and this is kind of ubiquitous in American cities. I think Chicago stands out in my mind as the city that does it best, where the police are still willing to crack skulls to make sure that certain types stay where they belong. Is St. Louis I guess on a scale from San Francisco, where they're pooping in the streets, to Chicago, where they have actual police, where does St. Louis fall on that for keeping the riffraff out?
The north is basically the riffraff area, and then the south is been mostly taken back. I mean, since the St. Floyd era, we recently had a mayoral election within the last, I forget exactly when it was, a couple years. Of course, I'm blanking on her name. Kara Spencer. Is it Kara Spencer? Anyway.
Maybe.
Yeah, she is, well, the Democratic Party pretty much has hegemony in the city, but...
City proper, yeah.
Her, like, whole thing, I guess, is just, like, the return of, like, sensible governance, so things are functioning now, and to be honest, there has been pretty significant improvement over the last 5 years, for sure.
When you say improvement, what do you mean, like in the way that the police handle crime, or the level of crime, or how do you mean improvement?
That the services are, I mean, there's still a lot of work to do on I think the snow plowing is still a mess, but I think there was vast improvements on, trash and whatever, and policing, of course. The South is basic. The South City has maintained a certain level.
It's the solvent part of the city.
Yeah,
is a way to put it short.
People still live there. There's the North is just like largely vacant in a lot of areas, and
yeah, like if you can do this if you go on Google Maps, you can. It's almost like a Detroitification, sort of played out in the north side of the city, where a lot of these, say, 2-family, like these duplex homes, historic ones, are torn down, like these almost shotgun 2 families. And there's like a bunch of empty lots where there was obviously like giant bustling neighborhood at one point in time.
So a lot of property development going on in the South City. I mean, of course, most of the people that want to live in these gentrified neighborhoods are libtards, but I gotta say it is a lot nicer. So they're doing the previous mayor was Tishara Jones, and I think she was just like,
that's an amazing name right there. That's
a cokehead,
a woman to fit the name. Yeah, cokehead, exactly.
I think that's pretty much all they did was just party and like make rap songs and stuff. Literally, I think that's all they did.
No, St. Louis, you know how each region has its own style of hip hop. I won't inquire as to St. Louis hip hop, but I mean, if St. Louis hip hop makes its way to being the mayor, I guess.
I mean, if we're talking about ethnic music, let's call it that, I guess. I mean, there is one thing that I've heard recently that I liked, but I do like blues. I don't remember what. I think it was Yola. There was one song by Black Girl that was like Yola or something. That was good that I heard on the radio, but I haven't really seen much produce from that cultural sphere for a while. But I guess I'm sort of cloistered from it.
Yeah, I kind of have this tickle in my brain that St. Louis used to be a hub for blues and jazz. Is that?
It's true. It's very true. It's still
okay. Oh, it is. Please, I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
I mean, there's the Hammerstone in which is like a club. Well, not really a club. It's more of just
a music venue.
Yeah, a music venue in Soulard. Soulard's a sort of historic part of the town, the city, and there's a few good venues, and there's still a venue circuit. I used to go on KDHX, which was like almost like a college radio station in the city. That it might have been a college radio station actually, but they had like a website that had a bunch of different showings all over the town, all over the city for a long while that I used to go on every once in a while.
Yeah, Soulard is like a little taste of New Orleans because I mean it's the old French Quarter back when river travel was the primary primary method of travel. So
yeah, it's squashed in between a highway and like a big warehouse district where there's also the
architecture is very similar. A lot of I mean it's not
it does have beautiful architecture.
But
there's
the closest it gets to New Orleans is during Mardi Gras.
We could give a bit of a lay of the land a bit more, maybe too.
Yeah, sure.
East St. Louis is, let's put it as, how do I put it? It's decreased by something like 80% of its once population, which those people, like their families, their progeny still exists. They just moved out further. Same thing with the people from North St. Louis. There's a lot of suburbanization around, but East St. Louis is on the floodplain, which there's like this giant opening of the floodplain right there, right on the eastern side of St. Louis. St. Louis is sort of like a sort of lower sloped area above the floodplain, so it's much easier to get infrastructure across and have people living up there. But basically East St. Louis is, I've been hearing it's been getting safer, but I mean it's still it's more like they've run out of people to kill.
Okay, that's a little grim.
Yeah.
So say East St. Louis, I imagine that's a very dark area, and has it depopulated or like what?
It's exceedingly depopulated. Like all the ghetto areas in St. Louis are somewhat spread out and exceedingly depopulated, basically, as far as like the once urban areas. A lot of the black population, a lot of the have moved out to like Ferguson of certain fames and a few areas around there.
They basically colonized North County.
Yeah, they colonized North County. Yeah,
pushing west.
They're basically pretty much like, it's famous to cite the Delmar Divide. There's a specific street that goes through St. Louis called Delmar. And basically, if you take Delmar to say, to just give a rough approximation for travelers, north of Delmar to I-170 to the airport. Everything to the northeast of there is, rule of thumb, slightly more questionable, let's say.
So it sounds like you're saying that the East St. Louis is kind of ripe for gentrification at this point.
It's in Illinois, but
of course,
there are people who still live there. They've sort of centralized quite a bit in a few projects that are in the old area, but like there are a bunch of problems in that area, and like one of them being there's all that infrastructure there. All that infrastructure is an overhead to maintain. If you move there, you're basically saying that you're going to foot the bill for part of that infrastructure.
There's a lot of cleanup. There's a lot of industry just north of there. It's I mean, there's still some, but it's a lot of it's abandoned, and there's just this terrible, disgusting. I did a few years ago. I did a marathon, and for whatever reason, they make you like do a loop around East St. Louis, and there's just this disgusting smell that hangs in the air. So I imagine there's a lot of cleanup that would need to be done.
Yeah.
So it's as polluted in the environment as it is by the people, but
pretty much.
if you're saying that it's been mostly depopulated, that makes me think that they can't really reach out into St. Louis proper. I mean, I know, of course, that would require them to cross the Mississippi, which is a natural border anyway. But is that...
Well, I mean, they're on both sides of the river. But East St. Louis is just...
That battle was fought generations ago. I think there was something called...
the
massacre of something of
the massacre of East St. Louis. Yeah, that was somewhat dark. Very, very large kill count. I don't know if I want to go into it that much, but basically, the long and short of it is the Great Migration. How that played out in St. Louis is predominantly a Catholic city, and a large amount of the Catholics in East St. Louis and the rest of the city. East St. Louis was one of the centers of the Catholic communities for a while, to my knowledge. Basically, what happened was these groups were very unionized and very organized and had a very, very tight-knit community. And the finance wasn't necessarily backing Catholic owners, let's say, for these industries. And the owners, during the time when there was a famine in the South, brought up a bunch of sharecroppers, what are essentially serfs from the South, to basically not just break, but completely undo all of the labor bargaining power and all of the wages and et cetera of the locals. And so this caused a giant intergenerational social, like, semi-pariah relationship between the two groups that hasn't really been dropped, even though people don't really even remember the point of origination of the beef. There's like, I mean, it's not that different from most places in the US, to be honest. It's just a different intensity. But basically, a lot of the people who were in these places, I mean, like, they didn't have as much bargaining potential, they didn't have etc. A lot of what are essentially foreigners got brought in, so they set up elsewhere above the floodplains. This is like a long process that happened. It wasn't even just at the time when most of this was happening across the country.
Well, so you mentioned a lot of foreigners coming in, and this is a big problem all over the United States right now. Has St. Louis been hit by the Jeep menace?
Not really, from my knowledge. I think there might be some in, like, abridging to Center City. I've looked at some of the statistics.
They colonized. There's a group of Jeets, population of Jeets, I guess, that colonized, say, sort of the part of the West County area a long time ago. But we really haven't gotten hit by the current thing going on, to be honest.
I think what we need to do is depreciate the name brand of the city more, so we can get that, like, advantage on, like, foreigners not coming here.
I mean, unfortunately, I think that even the worst areas, the worst cities in the United States are still better than the best places in India. So it's going to be that's going to be a hard sell.
I have noticed a huge uptick in the Hispanic population, though. That's the main thing I notice.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That's also seems to be ubiquitous in a lot of places, especially after what happened during the Biden administration. But have they set up ethnic cartels, or are they just basically like every roofer is a Hispanic sort of thing?
I mean, I've worked roofing. A very, very large proportion of it is Hispanics. I wasn't working on a Hispanic crew, really. Like, there were probably, like, maybe maybe a quarter Hispanic on one of the crews that I've worked on. But like, I think that's probably the difference between. There's a few reasons why I would be in a different crew. There's a bunch of them in landscaping. I did landscaping for a small period of time when I was younger too. They've probably got some kind of deal with some of the landscaping companies here because I don't think some of them were legitimate. Let's just say.
Yeah, I'm betting that's a bit of an understatement.
But they even had a Ukrainian guy come in when I was leaving them.
Was this after the war began?
Around then. Yeah.
Okay, so there is some hope for St. Louis yet. But I'm kind of interested in, again, St. Louis. It's you're saying it's a very economical city. Seems to be making marginal improvements over the summer of love.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of men does the SLV get to draw from in the St. Louis area? Is it a lot of transplants? Is it people who are native?
We don't really get that many transplants in St. Louis in general, as far as general population. I guess we've got a few transplants in the membership. But
yeah, maybe a third, or we have some military guys, I think.
I would say probably a good concentration of Xers, and then probably some older Generation Z, and then a good spread of millennials.
Yeah.
What would be the oldest person? What would that range be?
I think our oldest is either an Xer. I think we only have 2 Xers, to be honest. I think it's everyone knows him. Stephen Carson Radlin. I believe he's called himself the Boomer Whisperer or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe him, and he has a good friend that has joined us, but I don't know if we have any boomers, to be honest. I think the average age is probably 30, mid-30s.
I think there may be some boomers in the old Glory Club, but if there are, I'm not really familiar with any of them. So it would be quite the thing to have some in the club, in the SLV. So do the people, like, obviously Old Glory Club chapters aren't strictly one city, one state. They're more of a geographic area. About how far out of St. Louis do you guys draw from?
We've got a few people who at least have made entreaties to join, who are from quite far into Illinois. If I said a town, it would probably be on the level of doxing, because how do I say, Illinois is very agriculturally.
Probably just go by hours. I think we got a guy from Missouri too that's about 3 hours away. Yeah, we actually have a couple I can think of off the top of my head. So at least right now,
and it's not all of them.
2 to 3 hour radius.
Yeah. There's a very good amount of people in the centrality.
So would you say most of them are actually residents of St. Louis?
The general area,
depends.
yeah.
They're all residents. They're almost all residents of the metro, which there's a good number in the city, like the actual city, legal city. I'd say yeah.
All right, do you guys so we talk about this every episode about the proximity thing, and you guys have people coming from 3 hours away. Are you big enough yet to start thinking about breaking them off into smaller chapters, or having them get together on their own initiative? and obviously this isn't a requirement or anything that you guys ever do anything like this, but how do you deal with the proximity issue?
For now, it's just we're the St. Louis chapter, so I mean our monthly event or our monthly meeting will be in St. Louis. So that's kind of the main thing. I mean, we've done. Like you asked, we're not quite big enough to start really thinking about that yet. I think we're
basically trying to service the metro area.
We're at 25 members right now, and
very nice.
It's just if people want to drive. I mean, I guess the caveat is that we say is that we're the St. Louis chapter, so you know we're more than likely you're going to have to drive to St. Louis. I guess that's the. So I guess in the future,
we've been looking at the idea of some events that are well outside of St. Louis. Like we've been looking at potentially Herman and St. Genevieve for some things. We've already had at least one event in St. Genevieve. Those are some nice areas, historic and cultural areas that are like on the far periphery of the sort of metro, like basically in between another metro almost kind of areas.
So basically the way that you deal with the proximity is you just brute force it. You say, yeah, you're just going to come here. If you can't make it, maybe this isn't for you.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, based. No, that's pretty great. I mean, with 25 guys in an urban center, I'm sure you guys can put on some pretty good events. What do the Voyageurs find themselves getting into when you guys meet up?
We usually a lot of talking, a lot of basically like a small banquet, and we talk about history, culture, politics, quite a few other things, ideas.
I guess most our primary, we have a regular monthly official meeting, but thus far, I guess the only other events we've had outside of that are
workout.
We've done a hike, we've done shooting range day, and that's something now that we really started to get. So we officially started in April, and over the summer did a lot of vetting. So we've kind of built up this this group of 25 guys, and now I guess we're at the stage of starting to. I see the need to start delegating and get people involved, so we can the core group of guys can't be the only ones to initiate everything, if that makes sense. We're at the stage where I think listening to other chapters talk, where we're looking to delegate and start.
We don't want to have burnout, because that's a very good way to kill an organization, through both not passing on the torch or like building the skills in the next generation, and by just making it not fun and making people want to quit. So that's one of the things that we've been trying to focus on recently, which delegation's one of the main ways we've been.
We're still at an early stage, and I feel like we're in the transition stage to, like, we're in the process,
which there's been good signs. It's been working somewhat. It hasn't gotten all the way there yet, but
we're in the process of drafting our bylaws and getting a formal structure of routines and whatnot.
Coming up with silly names for office positions.
Yeah, having a good time. I mean, this seems like the organic process of that a lot of chapters move through, especially as the chapter grows. 25 people in less than a year is very fast growth. I'm glad to hear that there are so many brothers and so many men interested in the St. Louis area, if only because it's a black hole in my awareness. You mentioned, I mean, I think I heard this slip in there, overseer. You mentioned you guys have a fitness group.
Yeah. One of the guys did this naturally. He helped basically set up. We were doing like regular on one of the weekdays, basically a few hours after what would be a typical person's work, in a really central area in the city. We were just working out, and like regimens would be tossed between two of the main guys doing it, and me and what are we calling you for now?
TC.
We're on a first name basis. You see, it's not we touch grass. We actually work out on top of the grass. And
it's great that you have that operational awareness to not use that first name. Sometimes that discipline's a little hard to maintain, but please continue.
Yeah, so TC and me have been working out with those two guys, and another guy comes every once in a while, and there's a few more that we're hopeful will start coming a bit more. I mean, I need to get a good good discipline in on there, but yeah, fitness is fundamental. If you're not fit, then you're just slowly dying, and I'm happy that people have the presence of mind to do that naturally, and that someone took it to task and just naturally. It's a very good sign for the quality of the people in the group.
Yeah, that's something to be said. We really haven't had any like negative encounters yet, so I'm kind of like bracing for that, because we'll need to be prepared for that. But yeah, very high quality of men thus far.
I mean, that's perfect. You'll get the St. Louis Voyageurs, and you're going to have to mog on every other chapter during the national events. You hear that, guys? St. Louis has thrown down the gauntlet, and so if they're not more swole than you get to make fun of them for it. That's great.
Let's go with that.
What kind of are you guys doing? Like, weight training, or is it like what sort of things are you guys doing?
Weight training, cardio, a lot of what's the word we were talking about? A specific word for this? It's like multiple muscles at once.
It's a general mix. I'm blanking on. There's a type of workout. It's a group that I think it's Christian based, but it's like just. Is it T3 or something? I can't think of what it is, but
yeah, one of the guys was doing that for a while beforehand, and he brought some of the parts of the culture that he liked to some of the starting up of that workout group. It was mainly collaborative between him and one other guy mainly. We've got some artists in the club. We've got some we've got a wide variety of careers. It's not just like, oh, we're the St. Louis chapter, everyone works in Boeing. It's not that, at least yet.
that's what's kind of actually interesting and kind of strange is, yeah, we really don't have any everyone has a different profession, it seems like, thus far.
That's great.
Cooperation some way.
We love our aerospace engineers, but man, there's only so much autism you can take at a one group of guys. But I didn't want to get too far away from this fitness thing just yet. Have you guys gotten into any combat sports yet, or is it still just conditioning?
I believe that two guys. Actually, wait, I blanked. There's another guy who's a core guy. I just blanked him out of my mind because for the workout crew, but he like hurt his did he pull a tendon recently? Like it was at the workout.
At one of our workouts.
Like he just, it was really, really cold, and he jumped into a sprint. He was like, or something like that. I don't remember exactly. And he hurt himself slightly. I don't think it was like irrecoverable, but he does some kind of martial exercise.
Muay Thai, I believe.
I think there's another guy who does too. I can't remember if he has the distinguishing cabbage ears or not. I don't think he does.
The guy who does Muay Thai, he wouldn't happen to be like super skinny, would he?
I wouldn't say skinny. I would say maybe wiry and slightly more muscular than what you might think of as wiry.
I would say he's cut. I wish I didn't have my mini beard gut going.
I mean, Muay Thai is one of those things that'll definitely help your lose that. You guys should definitely train. Everyone talks about there's got to be some kind of OGC boxing league. I'm 100% on board with this, but we need men who can actually do it. Otherwise, it's going to be people getting themselves really, really hurt in a boxing ring. But Muay Thai is a great martial art. You get to use your elbows and knees and really hurt somebody. But I'm glad to again here at St. Louis is going down the path of the warrior monk, where you guys can get all autistic about history and philosophy while still getting out there and getting active, and let this serve as an example. But you guys had also mentioned sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, I'd say a good mix of practical people.
And try to rope in the people who can make it, but make excuses and don't. I speaking now as a member of Central, I want to see everybody pushing their brothers to be the best versions of themselves that they can be, which is a very gay phrase, but it carries the meaning that you know what I mean. You guys mentioned you have some artists. Now, when you say artists, do you mean people with artistic inclinations, or do you mean professional artists?
I mean, I would say professional artists. I mean, it seems like what one of them does is what I would probably call artisanship, as his main money maker. It seems. Maybe I don't know how his financials work. Not his actuary.
I think he works in stained glass, but he's also a painter.
Yeah, he what do you call it? At our Secret Santa thing, he had one of his paintings that he had framed, which it was a good painting. I think, yeah.
You got to be careful mentioning niche artistic endeavors like stained glass. I can't imagine there are too many people who actually engage in that. But yeah, I mean, so you guys are well-rounded. It sounds like you said you had a Secret Santa. Do you guys have a Christmas party?
We that was at one of our regular meetings. We have a monthly meeting that we do. We also have some events. But yeah, it's there's some weekly stuff, some monthly stuff, and some events that we put on every once in a while. So they're you're if you come, you're not going to be just like, oh, we'll see you once every month and goodbye. C'est la vie.
Well, I think that's like a key first step is just getting that monthly down, and then now we've been building on that. And now we just need to continue building on that. I think, well, getting a little more ambitious. We've kind of been in preliminary contact with
we've been growing fast.
Some local chapters for potentially a Midwest conference or something. But I mean, right now we don't really have the skill set or organizational capacity to pull that off. But
not yet, to be honest. But
but we'd be interested in.
We want to secure a future for St. Louis sponsorship.
The Midwestern Conference sounds like a great idea. I've heard people mention this before. But this idea that you don't have the capacity for it, I mean, that's just not. your brothers are the OGC, right? Like you just have to ask, like, hey, has anybody set one of these things up before? We'll give you a rundown, and it's well within your wheelhouse. It's not anything difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely, just fire the shotgun, man. See what sticks.
I think for me, I'd like to have like just our chapter do like a banquet or larger event and see how that goes.
Yeah, like a bigger one, yeah.
Yeah, so one of the this seems to be happening quite a bit in the organization in general. So one of our initiatives on Central is to get a calendar together that chronicles when all these things are happening, so that people aren't stepping on each other's toes. So keep an eye out on the website for that one. But when you guys are meeting up, when the SLV meets up, oh, by the way, before I forget, how am I supposed to pronounce Voyageur?
Voyageur.
Voyageur. Okay. Perfect. When you guys are meeting up and doing your monthly meetings, is it like a rotating cast of bars? You have like this one spot that you guys go to? Where are you normally meeting?
We've got a few spots, but we mainly choose one. I don't want to dox the exact location. But yeah, we've been outgrowing rooms. We were in a smaller room for a while we were still setting up, but we did a bunch of interviews and got things squared. And we've been upgrading, and it was a hassle and a challenge to find some good venues early on for like a certain scale of group that, like, you can't be paying an arm and a leg for some like place downtown when it's like just in that uneasy like middle space between say between 6 and like 8 people. Like you're not big enough that you're bargaining with buyers, and you're too big to like really have a certain kind of like access to certain kinds of venue that have privacy at certain points, it seems. So that was one of the main tricks that like one of the main hurdles that we had to get over earlier on. But we've got some places now. We've got a good category of places now. Yeah, bars, in like banquet rooms. Like it's probably just the same everywhere, but in a lot of Midwestern places, there's like a typical like old bar that was probably run by a family at some point in time, or maybe still is, that has like a larger banquet room, say upstairs or in another part of it. That a lot of places typically don't use them. Might be. I mean, that's probably how most chapters do it. I might be prattling.
No, you're right. Most chapters do start off in bars and eventually move to something like a bigger venue space or get your own space, right? You don't have any land developers or speculators, do you? People who could buy you your own venue?
I would say we actually do, but I don't want to press someone for like things.
I thought you were going to talk about your ambitions to.
I have ambitions. I'm a very ambitious
chapter
person.
House.
Yeah, I could do it. I just need land and materials, and maybe just like sub out a few things. But I could probably do that. I'm a tradesman.
Yeah, man, that sounds sick. If you need someone to do the electrical, I'll come down and give you a hand.
Oh, that would be fun. Maybe we could have a collaborative OGC total chapter house. I'd love to like make it like an old hall style with like a banquet hall style with maybe a few office rooms and like barracks ability, but not necessarily built to be a barracks. I mean, like if you have a bunch of people who are layover at some point in time, or if you have like what do you call it, or a bunch of people get drunk one night after a big event or something, maybe don't drive home. Like that capacity would be one of the few different kinds of capacities I'd want to plan for and build into it.
Yeah, there's.
That is a sick project. Sorry, TC, keep going.
Oh, I was just gonna say, there's a lot of perks of actually owning the building that you need in.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, when it's not being used, you can rent it out.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the kind of ambition we're looking for. A chapter house would be, especially somewhere near the center of the country like that, would be, pretty ideal. And getting the whole country's tradesmen, all the OGC tradesmen, to come down and pitch in to put that sweat equity in would be, that's the project that would cap off whatever year it was it took place in.
Imagine the benefits that could be had by having such a sojourn post where people could basically treat it like a relatively cheap room and board situation for other OGC members in the center of the country.
So I know that this right now is kind of a dream. It's a pie in the sky sort of thing. But if you're going to say that this is something you wanted to do and you were sure you were going to get started on the project, about how far out would you put it?
That's a very large range, and it depends on like my life trajectory, which can change on a few different pinnacles, probably a few other people too. I mean, if the stars align, I could probably act upon it right now. I could put a few things that are, to be honest, sort of on the middle burner in my life aside, slightly more onto the back burner, and probably hammer that out in maybe like a summer if everything lines up magically. But like a summer is when things are in demand. Probably actually a winter when things aren't in demand, just in case, like, because in certain fields there's sort of like a seasonal cycle of like being out of work, because when you work certain jobs, you're working yourself out of a job constantly. So I mean, the measure of success is usually, unless you have like a really overgrown like or just a very effective bidding department, then you're just going to find yourself out of work at some point in time, which I'm perfectly happy with, making hay while the sun shines.
Well, keep us posted on that. Those are the kinds of projects that we're hoping to see you spin up more frequently. Are you in the before we move on from this, are you in the guild?
Yeah, I'm in the I guess it would just be the guild, considering it's what most historical guilds were. But yeah, I'm in the I guess construction trades guild. Yeah.
Perfect. And for those listening, if you are a tradesman in the OGC and not yet in the guild, be sure to reach out to one of your officers, and we can get you brought into that as well. This would be a perfect project going forward, but we'll put a pin in that for now. Besides like just meeting up, have you guys had any like events yet? Or I mean, I know it hasn't been a year yet, but how far along have you guys gotten into doing things besides just meeting up and John?
I mean, we had a really fun hike at Pierre Marquette, which that was like a French landowner he's got a park named after him, probably on his family land in or some portion of it in Illinois and Jersey County. It's a really interesting place near the confluence of the Illinois and the Mississippi River. It's very, very rugged, and you get a nice view another very interesting little spot. Just there's a lot of very, very beautiful hiking land and beautiful spots all across St. Louis, and it's sort of sad to think, like, I know a lot of people who probably just don't even know they're there. Like, they're living next to some of the best hiking spots in the country. Not that I'm a prolific hiker even. I'm an Eagle Scout and I grew up in scouting. It's a
Well, to be honest,
yeah.
That's why they're so nice, is because no one's there. That's part of the reason.
Some of the time, yeah. I mean, they're just beautiful as well.
Yeah, so this is one of those things that we want to keep a secret, just for the SLV and brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we could do that.
Well, that's great. We're gonna hop on over and take a look at the super chats real quick. Beginning of the year, they've been piling up a little bit, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
The first, okay, so the first one here is from Omains JHG for $4.99. Not me, not you. I know you love interchapter competition. That I do. So here's one. I posit that STL is the city with the best statue to its namesake. Salute, brothers. Well, salute to you, sir. Let's maximize this $5 super chat here. What statue is he referring to?
Oh, he's referring to the is it the Assumption? No, it's not the Assumption. The Apotheosis. No.
King Louis at the St. Louis Art Museum. There's King Louis the Ninth. He was a crusader, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't remember which number either, but he led the crusade that gave us like the 4 crosses, the central cross with with 4 crosses on like the corners, that like crusader cross that you'll see every once in a while. He's the guy
who the cross of Jerusalem
crusade. Yeah, the I think, was it Barbarossa? I don't remember. It was, or was it Henry? One of the Holy Roman emperors got wiped out in the marching, I think, if I'm not conflating this with a different crusade. Like, there was a flood and like the base camps got wiped out or something. And so it mainly became a French-led crusade, because the French were basically some of the only ones that still had men, if I'm remembering properly. This is the St. Louis of the fame of marrying what's her name? Aquitaine. I don't remember, to be honest.
Mary the Black, or
no.
I have no idea.
This is embarrassing. I'm gonna have to look this up.
That is one incredibly based statue. I would absolutely love to go see that.
They tried to take that down during the 2020 Summer of Love, but they failed.
There's also a bunch of people that go there. Like I've been on a few like religious parades, let's call them, where like groups of, I'd probably estimate it at like 600 people at least, marched around from a church that's a good distance away all the way to that statue and back, and like sang hymns and like did rosaries and other stuff. It was funny. There was a colored hair woman who stopped and yelled pedophile at us. That was funny. Very tolerant people. But it was quite fun. There's still, it is obviously a statue of a saint, and the city is named after a saint. It would be fun to sanctify it.
Yeah, here's hoping. And may no horrible leftist, progressive atheist do any damage to that statue. It would be an absolute tragedy.
There's a very large religious community in St. Louis. Go on.
Well, I'm glad that I was going to ask you about the French, but maybe we'll hop into that after the super chats. But Omain's JHG again for $4.99. St. Louis is a monument to cyclical history. Walk around Forest Park, U City, and see magnificent engineering, art, architecture of past eras, overwhelmed by the dregs. That does sound quite harrowing, but the fact that it's still there is something to be grateful for.
St. Louis is probably one of the cities with some of the most density of beautiful old sort of vernacular masonry architecture in the world, and it's very affordable. You can go to one of those, like, a lot of them are like duplexes, some of them are still just single family homes, some of them, like, not that they all were, some of them are like fourplexes, but like a lot of historical beautiful brick buildings. The city was very controlled by the bricklayers union for a while, and like St. Louis has some of the highest quality bricks in the world. As far as like we used to be a producer of bricks, and when I say this, I mean, like, there have been cases where people have demolished, like demolished abandoned buildings in North St. Louis, literally just to like scrap them for the bricks, to like take them to other places to build things with them.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've seen. I mean, I'm in the trades as well, so I've seen some of those St. Louis bricks up in the Northeast. Mm-hmm. But we've got a third super chat from Omain's JGH. Is he in the chapter?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
All right. Well, he's saying. Metropolitan St. Louis, the voting choices are black Zionists like Wellesley Bell or black third worldists like Cori Bush. Gee, I wonder what's radicalizing the Zoomer.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of things. Your mic's not muted. Cori Bush. To be honest, I don't even remember all these names. I don't know if I can give good commentary on all of them.
Cori Bush was a state senator that was constantly grifting about, the normal grift, constantly the victim.
Oh, yeah. Is this a usual story? Is this a usual case kind of person? Do they?
Oh yeah, like one time she was in the city and her like car got hit by stray bullets and she like tried to frame it on white supremacists or something, like,
Yeah, because we're obviously notorious for white supremacists shooting stray bullets all the time in St. Louis.
Yeah, the white supremacist drive-bys of St. Louis are known the world over.
Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of the crime, from what I remember, if I'm reading the statistics properly, like a lot of other cities, there'll be like higher rape or higher etc. Not really in St. Louis. They basically just kill. It's basically just killing. There's not much else in terms of like a lot of the crime.
There's got to be something in the water there. But race grifting aside, we have one coming from our favorite Australian, Don Browning, who sends 10 Australian dollars with a super sticker of an anthropomorphic cat dressed as a weeb and dancing while holding hand fans with hearts on them.
How
thank you. Is that a cat or is that a Shibu Inu?
I believe that is a Shibu. Inu. I don't know how to say that, to be honest.
Well, either way, it's adorable. Thank you, Don Browning. Always fun. Bolero 393, an old soul for $10 dues. Radlib's speech about the heroic defense of St. Louis in the American Revolution was one of the most moving stories I've ever heard. Such a pivotal point in history, so underappreciated. Yes, that is accurate. Depiction of his speech. It was quite moving. I don't know if we have that published.
You should. I haven't been able to see it. I wasn't there.
Well, let me ask the producer to put it in chat, and I'll let you guys know. But do you guys have anything to say about the defense of St. Louis?
It's a beautiful city. There was I believe this is the one with the tower that we're talking about.
I'm not. If it is, I don't remember him mentioning it.
Okay. Can you give me a small amount of context?
Well, I suppose it's not that big of a deal to go into, but it has not been published, alas.
Okay.
But for the final super chat, we have Jackson Walker for $5, gives us a salute. Well, salute to you, sir, and to all the brothers of the Old Glory Club. I did want to ask a couple more questions before we sign off and do the traditional sign-off questions. But something you mentioned way at the beginning was that St. Louis was very French, which makes sense given its proximity to Louisiana. Does it remain French and Catholic?
So depends what you mean. It remains extremely heavily Catholic. The French influence, a lot of them have moved down to Saint Genevieve over the time. There is like a residual population of French descended people that have sort of mixed in with the rest of the I guess just white community. That like you'll hear names that are obviously French.
I'd say the main residual French culture is in Soulard, the Soulard district, and that's a big bar and restaurant district. It's the main party district. If you're like, that's where all college kids. When I was fresh out of college, that's where everyone went out at the 3 a.m. bars and whatnot, kind of reminiscent of New Orleans or whatnot. And that and the Mardi Gras, big Mardi Gras celebration.
Yeah, there's a big Mardi Gras celebration in Soulard.
And cathedrals everywhere. I mean,
there are beautiful cathedrals everywhere in St. Louis. I've been to quite a few. It's also one of the larger concentrations of relics in the world is in St. Louis. A lot of them personally gifted by the Pope.
Now that's a tourist attraction if I've ever heard one. But before we sign off, what is one lesson that you both took from the organizational process that you weren't expecting? Or really anything that you learned since starting this chapter or becoming a part of it?
A certain kind of confidence. You become a lot braver when you actually meet people who you can have what would seem to be a genuine fraternity. It's very, very heartening.
TC?
This isn't the normal question I was expecting. What did I learn?
Yeah, what's a lesson that you appreciated becoming a part of or anything you appreciate, anything you didn't expect becoming a part of the OGC or putting together your chapter?
I think the main thing for me is the, everyone across the right wing spheres are talking about, do local things. So actually doing the local things really puts that into perspective, and it kind of, creates a more sane sense of priorities, if you will, especially with, social media, X, all those things. It really, there's a certain sort of clarity of what really matters, the actual personal bonds that you're forming and doing things in person, not just agreeing. And I mean, the memeing online is fun and I enjoy that, but I think a lot of the stuff that kind of gets us here can be overwhelmingly toxic. So you just kind of have to take that step to actually, move on from just being perpetually online, if that's what you're doing. I mean, maybe I'm just speaking for myself because I I get sucked into X like everyone else, but if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we all do, and that is why we got put this together in the first place, is to kind of break that cycle. And I'm glad that it's something that you experienced firsthand.
It's been a very generative experience.
Yeah, it's something you don't really expect until you experience it. But I want to thank you guys for joining us. Overseer TC, thank you for representing the St. Louis Voyageurs. We are coming back next week with the Stonewall Society from West Virginia. Not West Virginia, sorry. Western Virginia. West Virginia is still ripe for the taking for you enterprising Shenandoah Valley types.
One gets carried away.
Indeed. But yeah, so join us next week. Be sure to check out the new and improved Pony Express Radio every Thursday, 8 p.m. and the American Spirits podcast every Monday at 8 p.m., where the party line is set. That is your one-stop shop for all things American philosophy. For the Chapter House, I am NotMeNotYou. Thank you all.